Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rekha Agarwal. Now today we are discussing determinants of demand which belongs to theory of demand. Determinants of demand. So first of all, meaning of determinant should be clear. Determinants means that factor which affect demand or which brings fluctuation or changes in demand. So first determinant, which is the most prominent one, is price of own commodity. Price of own commodity, which we denotes by PX. Okay, price of own commodity means whenever we buy a commodity, we consider the price of that particular commodity. And as we know, that is the most important assumption of economics, that in economics, human beings are rational beings. Rational means whenever they take any decision, they consider all the pros and cons, which commodity is beneficial for them and which is not, because they are sacrificing in the terms of money. So suppose we are buying any particular commodity PX and price is 10 rupees, that person is demanding 100 units of that good. And now if price increases to 20, so instead of 100, now suppose he is buying only 60 goods. So what does it shows? Simply when price increases, quantity demand of that particular commodity decreases, or if price decreases, price of that particular commodity will increase. This we can explain with the help of diagram also. So here you can see this is OX axis and this is your OY axis. On OX axis we will take quantity demanded, which is a dependent factor, and on OY axis we will take price. So price is always considered as an independent factor. So when price was 10 rupees, person was demanding 100 units, and when price increased to 20, now is demanding only 60 units. It means when price increases, quantity demand decreases. When we join these 2 points, we obtain demand curve. It means initially he was on point A, and due to increase in point price, he will shift to point B. That is an upward movement on the same demand curve. And your demand curve is downward sloping. Why? Because of the inverse relationship between price and quantity demand. So class, now your second determinant is price of related goods. So here we will divide related goods into 2 parts. One is your substitute goods, and another one is complementary goods. Now, substitute goods are that goods which can be used in place of one. We can take so many examples in our day-to-day life, like instead of Coca-Cola, we can use Pepsi. In ice cream also, we have so many brands, like instead of Hammer, we can have Vadilal. Price of related goods. Price of related goods can be divided into 2 parts. One is your substitute good and another one is complementary goods. Substitute goods are those goods which can be used in place of one another. In day-to-day life, we find so many examples, like in cold drinks, instead of Coca-Cola, we can use Pepsi. In ice creams also, we have so many brands, like instead of Hammer, we can use Vadilal, Perry, and so many examples. Like on bread, instead of butter, we can use jam. So simply we can take example of any one component here, like suppose Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Now if price of Coca-Cola increases, then quantity demand of Pepsi will increase. Why? Simply because now Coca-Cola is costly, so a rational consumer will prefer Pepsi instead of Coca-Cola. So it shows that there is a direct relationship between both. If price of one commodity increases, the demand of another commodity will increase. Now we comes to complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are jointly demanded. It means to use one good, we need another one. Like suppose we can take example of car and petrol. Now suppose price of car increases. So rational means now we like to buy less car. So if demand of car decreases, the demand of petrol will also decrease. So there is an inverse relationship between two complementary goods. So here class we can see that in substitute goods there is a direct relationship. Why? Because both arrows are moving in same direction. Whereas in case of complementary goods, between two goods there is an inverse relationship. Why? Because of the opposite movement of the arrows. Here you can see price of one is increasing whereas demand of another is decreasing, which shows the inverse relationship between two goods. Third determinant of demand is income of the consumer, which we denote by Y. Income of the consumer and quantity demand has a direct relationship. Simply, income increases, consumers are now in better position to buy commodities more than before. Therefore, when income increases, quantity demand also increases. When income decreases, quantity demand also decreases. But here we divide goods into two types. Normally goods are of two types. One is your normal goods and one is your inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods which we buy in our day-to-day life. So simply when income increases, demand for normal good will also increase. And when income decreases, demand for normal good will also decrease. But in the case of inferior goods, it has an inverse relationship. Simply we can take example of dalda ghee. If income increases, no one would like to consume inferior goods. They will move to normal goods. So if income increases, demand of inferior goods will decrease. And if income decreases, now consumers are not in better position. So their budget will reduce. So they have to buy more inferior goods than before. Therefore, quantity demanded of inferior goods will increase. So what does it show? That income and quantity demand in case of inferior goods have a inverse relationship, but in the case of normal goods, income and quantity demand have a direct relationship. Our next component is taste, habits and preferences, which we denoted by T. Simply we can take so many examples, like if we have a favorable taste, then demand of that particular commodity will increase. Fourth determinant is taste, habits and preferences, which we will denote it by T. Taste, habits and preferences. Taste, in the case of taste, if we have a favorable taste, demand will increase, and in case of unfavorable taste, demand will decrease. Next is your habits. Suppose a person is a habitual of any particular commodity, then even if price is high, its demand will not decrease. And if a person is not habitual, then if price increases, he would demand less. Preferences also affect demand. Like in winters, we prefer hot drinks, so demand of hot drinks will increase, soups will increase. And in the case of summers, demand of cold drinks, ice creams, because we prefer something cold because of the hot temperature. So simply, in case of favorable conditions, demand will decrease, and in the case of unfavorable situations or conditions, quantity demand will decrease. So climate, fashion, trends, all factors also affect demand. Fifth component is expectations, which is denoted by E alphabet. Expectations means future expectations. Like in future, suppose we think that price are going to be rise, then what will we do at present? We will buy more, because in future we have to pay more price. We can take simple example of gold. If we think that in future price of gold will increase, so we will buy it currently more in amount. And now suppose in future price is supposed to fall, then we will postpone our purchases in current time so that we can buy it in near future. So in the case of expectations, in near future, if price is supposed to rise, then at present we will buy less. And just opposite, in future if price is supposed to fall, then at present we will buy more. So Quantity demand is a functional relationship between price of own commodity, price of related good, income, taste and future expectations. All these 5 elements are the part of individual demand function. So here functional means a relationship which shows relationship between quantity demand and other determinants. All these are the part of individual demand function. So initially we have discussed about those factors which affect individual demand. So now we will include 2 more determinants which affect your market demand. So first of all, population. More the population, more will be the demand. Less the population, less will be the demand. But with population we also include composition of population. Composition means which type of population do we have. Suppose in our population, women section is more, then demand of cosmetics etc. will increase. And suppose now youngsters are more, then demand of sports items, that will increase. So composition also affects your demand. Then the second one is your distribution of income. Distribution of income is denoted by D1 and population is denoted by P. Now distribution of income is how your income is distributed. That is your national income. If your income is equally distributed, then there will be more demand, and if there is an unequal distribution, then your demand will decrease. This we can explain with the help of example. Suppose in an economy, we are just taking a very simple example. Suppose we have only 10 persons in the economy and all are getting 10,000 rupees. All will demand more goods and services, and now suppose there is an unequal distribution. 2 persons are earning 1 lakh and another have only 2,000. Then what will happen? Poor sections have a desire to buy more goods, but they are not backed up with sufficient purchasing power. Rich persons have income, but they save most of their part and consumes less. So what does it mean? It means demand of that commodity will decline in the case of unequal distribution. So in market demand we further include 2. So when we are discussing about market demand, so your components include 5 determinants which are the part of individual demand curve. That is price of own commodity, price of related good, income, taste, future expectations, population and distribution of income. So now overall there are 7 determinants which affects your market demand. That's all for this topic.